Hello everybody. The classroom management strategy that I'll be talking about is called CHAMPS. The purpose of CHAMPS is to develop an instructional structure in which students are responsible, motivated, and highly engaged in the specific task at hand. So the teacher's goal is to teach students directly how to be successful in specific class situations. When creating your CHAMPS expectations for your classroom, you have to ask yourself two questions for each. So, what do students need to know and do in order to behave responsibly? And what do students need to know and do in order to be successful? The C in CHAMPS stands for conversation. So, can students converse during this activity about what, with whom, or for how long? An example of this would be no conversation is allowed during this class discussion. The H in CHAMPS stands for help. So how do students get your attention for help? How do students get questions answered? What should they do while they wait for you? An example is, if you do not understand someone's comment, raise a sheet of paper in the air to ask questions for clarification. The A stands for activity. So you have to ask yourself, what is the expected end product of this activity? What is the task or objective? And the example would be, listen to the discussion, do not interrupt others who are speaking, ask questions or make comments that are appropriate for the topic of the discussion, and raise your hand to do so. The M stands for movement. For what reasons can students get out of their seats during this activity, and do they need permission to do so? An example of this would be to stand up and stretch if you need to, but do not walk around the classroom. The P stands for participation. So what behavior shows that students are participating or not participating? An example of this would be share your experiences and ask questions related to the topic of the discussion. And finally, the S stands for success. There are actually no questions for this one. When all of the CHAMPS expectations are met, students will be successful. So when teachers use this strategy in the classroom, they typically leave signs that display the acronym itself and place each corresponding expectation next to the appropriate letter. And for students specifically with behavior disorders, the teacher can provide a copy of the CHAMPS expectations that they've created so the student has a visual reminder of how they should behave and what they need to do to be successful. So if you're interested in this strategy that may successfully encourage students to be responsible, responsive, and proactive, this approach is certainly worth trying.